So I am a graduate student in the Intercultural and International Communication program, and I was drawn to that program because I have a background in journalism and strategic communications, and I really wanted to apply that more to the foreign policy and international affairs field. And I really wanted to think about considering culture in communication and considering how our messaging should be more focused in specific cultural contexts. Since I've worked a lot in the communications field, I feel like new technology, specifically social media, has become such a huge avenue in order to reach people and engage with people and also measure audience sentiment in a lot of ways. And so I think it's really changed the landscape overall for communication and how we both send out messages as well as receiving them. And I think you can't really think about a communication campaign or communication efforts without thinking about new technology. So not just the social media platforms, but in terms of how people are receiving their messages, it's not just, through a print newspaper, for example, anymore. You have people on desktops, you have people on laptops, you have people on mobile. Like, there's just the different mediums and actual devices that people are using to gain messages and read messages and take in information is quite varied. And so I think to be fully in tune with that is pretty important as a communicator. So I think having so many new innovations in new technology has really aided communication in terms of access being a big one. I think people are able to have access to information in terms of things that they're interested in learning about, but also just access to news as it happens. And I think that's a very different way of understanding and knowing the world that we live in than it has been historically. I think the ability to connect with other people is a huge advantage as well. Being able to find people with similar interests or, researchers in an area that you're very interested in, all of that type of information is so readily available to you as well. So connecting with people with similar interests or similar backgrounds has become more greatly available. And then I think the other big benefit is just timeliness, like the ability to stay connected with the world as things happen and as things happen in real time, I think is a huge advantage. I think a lot of the risks are tied to the fact that many of us in this new age, as we've adapted to using these technologies, haven't really thought about the security or privacy implications. And so we're sort of coming to terms with that now, but we have already, for years given up our data to different companies. We've given up our photos and our personal information to different companies, and we don't actually really know what's being done with this information. A lot of social media companies, as well as other private tech companies, don't release their privacy laws or their privacy policies quite widely. And so I think that's a huge risk and huge implication for people because, again, we've been willing consumers and we've been a part of this new age of technology and this new use of technology, but we haven't always thought about what it means for our personal security and privacy.